Hello, my name is David Okabayashi, and I will be doing my speech 1 for Communications 235 on the U.S. adopting a nationalized universal healthcare system. The United States makes more money than any other country, yet we are the only developed country that does not guarantee healthcare to our citizens. Countries like Germany started doing this in the 1880s, and it's time the U.S. just caught up to them. We are so far behind. Seriously, every country from China, Russia, South Korea, Japan, the United Kingdom, it does not matter if they are developed and have been around for a long time and did industrialization. They have healthcare for every citizen, and the U.S. should join them. It's not a new idea. It's just what they should do. There's a reason why every other country does it. We should not be one of one in this situation. And there are three main reasons behind this that I believe. One of them is just moral reasons. I think it's the right thing to do. Second is the quality of life and public health would be improved. Thirdly, economic reasons. It would be cheaper overall, which I'll get to later. For the first one, being moral and ethical responsibility, I think every American should have access to healthcare regardless of their income, background, or employment. They should not have to worry about being employed to be able to see the doctor or get treatment for cancer. Employers should not be in charge of how much you can live your life. In countries with universal healthcare like Canada, citizens do not face bankruptcy over medical bills. The amount of people who I know who do not want to take a ride in an ambulance because they cannot afford it and they would rather just literally have somebody drive them themselves, even if they risk something horrible happening, is the vast majority. Most people I know don't want it. I've seen so many people talk about how Breaking Bad just would not happen in so many other countries. So many countries just don't like the show as much because they're like, why would somebody who's worked all their life as a citizen have to worry about paying for cancer? Why would they be worrying financially? They should just be worrying about themselves and how they're physically doing or how they're mentally doing. They shouldn't worry about how it's going to impact their family financially. They should be worrying about the emotional side of things. It's crazy that somebody could see this happening and that it's so realistic that you can make a show and people will buy into it because that's how real it is. For my argument 2, it just would increase the quality of life and public health. You offer preventative care, people tend to stay healthier. Every single person, or rather scientist, would agree with this. It's just if you have preventative care and you work on things before they become a larger issue, you will be better. If somebody checks out their back because it's hurting, but they don't have insurance at the time, it's going to be cheaper for them to just get it taken care of right away before it becomes this horrible thing. And by horrible, I meant that the issue from a back ache and it's kind of bothering you to a legitimate back problem that will happen or cause you to be able to move differently for years or maybe even the rest of your life, that you will need to get really expensive surgery on, but you just couldn't see it becoming this bad, so you didn't get the preventative care for it beforehand because it was just too expensive, because it just didn't make sense. Why would you spend $1,000 on something that could go away? But instead, if you spend $0 on something that might go away, that makes a lot more sense. In every developed country that has implemented universal health care, right after, the infant mortality rate has lowered. Another thing that tends to happen is lower rates of chronic disease and longer life expectancy. It also leads to a healthier workforce, which would be very positive for the United States, which leads me into the economy. Many people believe that universal healthcare is too expensive. that would be the biggest issue, that we shouldn't implement it because it would cost too much and the taxes would be too high. However, we already pay more than any other country for healthcare on average. Per citizen, we spend more than any other country. We spend around $13,500 per person on average. Other countries in the top 5 spend below $7,000. The second country, which was, I believe, Germany, according to Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health and also Investopedia, was $8,500, which is $5,000 less annually. We are spending more than them. We would have better healthcare than them if we just use that money and put it towards our taxes and then everybody had it. We just have a disorganized and inefficient way. We pay premiums and deductibles and co-pays, but if we changed the model and applied it to every citizen where they were just told, hey, you get taxed this amount, and then you get, let's say, cancer treatment for free or certain things. That's the other thing. A lot of people are like, hey, I don't know how this would go. I don't know the exacts either, but we could start it just off with a, hey, you get once a year, you can go and check out whatever you need from the doctor. You can get certain medical treatments that the doctors deem worthy for free. And yeah, that's literally it. Just maybe twice a year you get dental. You could keep generally the things the same. It's just for the worst case scenario where people really suffer, they wouldn't be screwed financially. They would be okay. And that kind of leads to me to my conclusion. It would be cheaper, it would be easier, and people wouldn't risk being ruined for generations financially because they got a sickness. No American should be left behind just because, like I said, they got a sickness or they got injured. We should care for all of us. It's the right thing to do. And your income level / the job you have should not determine the amount of health care you receive. The Hippocratic Oath would also agree with that. I want to see America become a company that cares about its citizens, and creating a universal healthcare system would be the start of that. And as I said, we don't have to be perfect in the beginning. We just have to start somewhere. We have to do something.